Hello everybody, this is Dr. Cole. It's Saturday night the 21st. You'll probably be finding the link to this video on Sunday or perhaps Monday as we enter week 2 of Political Science 1013 for the fall term. Everybody, as I'm speaking, the first discussion is about to end. It's late Sunday night as I'm speaking to you, and at midnight the first discussion is going to end. I've tried to take part just a bit and put my own 2 cents worth. Many of the comments looked thoughtful. We're going to try to get that graded early in the week so that those scores will be up and visible to you for discussion 1. Now we have a quiz coming up on Tuesday, quiz 1. You're asked to look at 3 articles from the press to which I've sent you links. We're working on Unit 1 on political participation, which is largely about voting in elections, and beyond that, people's attitudes toward politics. We go through a number of ways in which you can participate, and then we look closely at voting in elections and the related but separate and distinct issues of turnout and vote choice. Be sure you understand the difference between the two. Now, of course, at the beginning of the unit, we do talk for a while in general about the concept of democracy. So for the quiz coming up on Tuesday, we have an article about turnout in the 2020 election in November 2020, which was quite high by recent standards. We have an article about teenagers, people who are in high school right now, and how they have experienced the American political system and the news about politics that they've encountered, going back at least to 2016. Then we have an article having to do with an issue that students may have heard about. Of course, the election in November 2020 took place during the pandemic, which we're still dealing with, and so just about every jurisdiction changed its rules about voting because otherwise people might have been afraid to vote. So people were given alternatives to going to the polls in person, where there might have been an issue with catching the virus. But that in itself served to arouse suspicion as to whether the election had been stolen. And students may have heard that many states are considering new laws and rules to govern their elections, and many of these states are states where Republicans control the legislature. So this is an initiative in many of the states that Republicans support and Democrats are opposed to. The issue is adding new restrictions, rules, and regulations, and conceivably making it more difficult to vote. Democrats tend to look at this as voter suppression, and they're suspicious of it. What your article mentions is, it emphasizes that the Trump voter very often was what we might call a down market voter, not especially affluent or highly educated. So, if new rules and regulations affect that type of voter, the fear is on part of some Republican conservatives, Republicans might end up suppressing their own voters. So you'll see an extensive discussion about that in the article that's reported by the chief national correspondent for Yahoo News. All right, so that is what you'll be looking at and reading through for the quiz on Tuesday. When you open up the quiz, there will be 10 true-false items. You'll have 15 minutes to take the quiz. Expect 3 or 4 questions from each of those 3 articles, and you'll have 15 minutes to take that quiz. Once we do that, we'll be moving on to Unit 2, which will take us past the first of the month. Unit 2 deals with political parties and also pressure groups. So that's what we'll be delving into after we get through with the quiz on Tuesday. So that's what we'll be doing this coming week, with emphasis on the quiz coming up on Tuesday. So if you run into any difficulties, especially if you have trouble accessing the material you're assigned to read for the quiz, please contact me, david.cole@opsu.edu, and we'll try to get that straightened out before the quiz. Otherwise, the quiz will be available for 24 hours on Tuesday, and after that we will move on to look at Political Parties and Pressure Groups, Unit 2. So, good luck on the quiz, study hard, and we'll talk to you again this time next week.